something really special today, which is called the Three Sisters Soup. And as it becomes chilly outside, and why not start with something really nice and warm to eat? Well, this soup recipe we are going to make today has an indigenous story twisted into it, called the Three Sisters Soup, based off of the Handuse legend of the Three Sisters, are squash, corn, and beans. I will begin by reading the story, and I'm going to tell you guys it right now. All right. So the story is called The Three Sisters. This version is the Handunase legend of the Three Sisters. Very long ago, there were three sisters who lived in a field. The youngest was so small she could not yet walk. She crawled along the ground, dressed in green, basically like our green beans here. Then the second sister is the squash sister, and that is the middle sister, who wore a bright and yellow dress and darted back and forth across the fields. The bean sister, the eldest sister, stood tall and straight, and her body bent with the wind. She had a long yellow hair and wore a green shawl, the corn sister. The three sisters loved one another very much and could not imagine living without the others. One day, a little boy came to the fields. He was very handsome and knew the ways of the land. He could walk with the birds and the animals and was straight and fearless. The three sisters were very interested in this boy as they watched him, and he used his stone knife to carve a bull and then hunt with his bow and arrow. Late in the summer of the boy's first visit to the field, the youngest of the three sisters disappeared. She was the one who could only creep along the ground. She could not even stand unless there were a stick and she could cling to. But she was gone, and the other two sisters mourned her until the fall. The boy returned to the field to gather the reeds that grew to the edge of the small stream. He used the reeds to make the arrow shafts. The two remaining sisters again watched him, fascinated. That night, the second sister disappeared, the one who always wandered hither and yon. Now there was only one sister left. The tall and straight sister. She did not bow her head in sorrow, though she mourned deeply and thought she could not live in the field alone with her sisters. As the day grew shorter and colder, her green shawl began to lose its color, and her yellow hair became dry and tangled. The night and day she sighed for her sisters, but her voice was low like the wind, and no one heard her. One day in the harvest season, the little boy heard the third sister crying, and he felt sorry for her. He took her in her arms and carried her to his home, and there a delightful surprise awaited her. Her sisters were there in the lodge, safe and very glad to be reunited. They explained that they had been curious about the little boy and had followed him home, and they had decided to stay because winter was coming, and his home was warm and comfortable. The sisters were also making themselves useful to the boy and his family. The youngest, now all grown up, kept the dinner pot full, while the second sister, still in her yellow dress, dried herself on the shelf so she could fill the dinner pot later in the winter. The eldest sister was so pleased to be with her sisters again, and so impressed with the help that they gave the boy. And she began drying herself so the family could have the meal to use as the winter went on. And from that day, this was the story of the three sisters, and they were never separated again. And it is a lovely story. A big plot was that we find them again. All right, so now we are going to get into our soup. But before we do, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the people at the Fort Erie Native Friendship Center for sharing this story and the recipe with us today. This experience will lighten us on Indigenous culture, so we want to thank you all from early on. But now, let's get cooking our recipe. All right, so first, what you're going to need is one medium butternut squash, which it needs to be peeled, seeded, and cubed. So far, I cut mine in half so far. haven't seeded it yet, but I will show you guys. And I did peel it so it can make a faster process. And I did cube some here on the other half. And what else you're gonna need is some frozen corn, or you can use any type of corn, and you need some green beans. And then you're going to need some water. You're going to need either some vegetable stock, or you can use chicken stock. I use chicken stock. And then second last, you're going to need is some butter. I have a stick of butter, and you need some flour. And then lastly, for taste, just to add a little bit of something, you need some salt and some pepper, like maracas here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with a large soup pot here I have. We're gonna add in our broth and our water. So I'm gonna add in my 3 cups of water into the pot. So this is 2 cups right there. And then this is 1 cup of water into our pot. And now we're gonna need our chicken broth, which we're gonna need how many cups? So 4 cups of chicken stock. So we're gonna take our, ooh, it smells like chicken too. We're gonna take our little measuring cup here. I'm gonna put it over the bowl here. I'm gonna measure up 2 cups, and then we're gonna do another 2 cups. Ooh, jumped out at me. All right, there's 1. We're gonna need 1 more. So this is why I bought 2 things, just in case if there wasn't enough. But there might just be. And look at that, I'll just add the rest of it. All right, so that's gonna make whole. There is our first part of it, which is gonna take our whole chicken stock here, put it to the side. And next you're gonna add half of the corn to the stock pot. So we're gonna open this up. You're gonna need 2 cups of corn. So let's open this up. Use those muscles, because I have none. And we're going to open this up, scoop some out. About a cup. Might get messy a little bit, but that's okay. So we got, how many cups is this? 2 cups. So you got your 1 cup here. Gonna dump it in. And that's our half. So you're only gonna need 1 cup right now, as you're gonna need another cup later on. All right. Make sure that our corn's in there. We won't put those pieces in there because as they fell. And now we'll put our corn away for later. All right, so next, after that, you're gonna put all your chopped green beans, or you can use frozen green beans, your cube squash, and you're gonna season it with salt. So next, we're gonna do that. So first, I'm gonna show you guys my squash here. And I'm going to seed it. We're gonna take these, it's kind of like a pumpkin. And you're going to just take out all of the guts inside of your squash. And just seed it, just until there's no like veins in it. It can be a little bit tough, and you can show these to your kids. Your kids will love this. It's kind of like a pumpkin when you're on Halloween. And you're gonna take all of the guts out. Ugh. All right, we're almost there. I think that's nice and clean. Oh, maybe just a little bit more there. There we go. So now it's nice and de-seeded. And next you're going to do is you're going to peel it. So what you're going to do is just peel the backing where it was white. I already had started to finish peeling mine. You would just peel off until you kind of get the same color as on this side. So you see how it's the same. It's a little bit dry on this side though right now because I already peeled it. But then you're going to chop it into cubes like we have here. will show you. So I'm just gonna put it on its side here. I'm just gonna cut it in half. And there we go, we got one piece. Some pieces may be harder than others to cut, as it might be hard. But now we're going to chop these into cubes. They can be big, they can be small, they can be whatever size you like. And we're going to put those into, we'll put those in there after. We're just gonna finish this. You gotta put the whole squash in there, or butternut squash you're gonna need. But I will finish this after for you guys, because as I want to get on to the next part of it. So let me finish this here, and then we will get on to our green beans. Perfect, nice and cubed. And now we're gonna go on to our green beans. So you're going to need all your green beans, so 2 cups of green beans. So you're gonna open this bad boy up. I'm gonna get out your green beans here. And we've got 2 cups. Oops. So there's 1 cup. And then there's 2 cups. So you add those in. Perfect. We'll move that one out of the way because it's dirty. And then put those away. And now you're going to need is to put the rest of your squash. I'll put the squash in here as I will add more later. We'll add the whole thing. I just want to skip it for you guys. And then you're going to season it with salt. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just to make some taste to it. Also, I forgot to mention, you can get any type of broth. I got one with 30% less sodium, so then when you add more salt, it kind of adds up, and it's healthier. The next, you're going to bring the mixture to a boil over high heat, and then reduce the heat to a medium-low heat. So we're gonna bring this over here, put it on our little burner here for you guys. Make sure it's on there. And we're gonna put it on max heat for now. But on your burner, you would just put it on to until boil. So I'm just gonna stir it with my spoon here. Miss Michaela, would you like to come and look inside? So that's what it would look like. And what it's gonna do is just gonna boil. While we do that, we can cut some more while we're waiting. All right, so then after you do that, when you wait for it to boil, the mixture, and reduce it to low medium, then you're gonna let it simmer until the vegetables are almost tender. Then you're going to, for about 30 minutes, and then you're gonna mash it lightly. So you're just gonna go inside and just mash them a little bit. So then it's kind of squished together and they combine the tastes. You can use any type of thing to mash. Right now we don't have a masher here, but you can use a spoon or you can use a spatula, anything you can find that's flat. And then you're going to next, after that, is you're gonna stir the remaining corn and season with the salt and pepper to taste. So then after we would add some more corn into our batch, our last cup, into the bowl after. And then after that, you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of butter and your 2 teaspoons of flour. So I got my stick of butter and my 2 teaspoons, both of them are gonna be 2 teaspoons. So you're gonna add those. But it's gonna take a while, so I'm only gonna show you part of it. But I can take a picture and show you guys the process of it being done after. And then after that, is you're just gonna, after the butter and the flour are done, you're gonna let it simmer for about another 30 minutes, and then you're ready to serve and enjoy. But I wanna thank you all for being here. And if you guys have any questions about it, we will have the recipe in the comments for you guys to look at, as well as the story. And if you'd like to find more about the Fort Erie Native Friendship Center, please check out their Facebook page as well as their site. I will post their link for their site in the comments for you guys. And I also want to thank you all for watching today's Cook With Me with Miss Jennifer here. and as Miss Michaela behind the camera helping me out. And I want to wish you all and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we hope to see you back here in 2021 for some more Cook With Me recipes. I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye!